our second panelist, we have a quick word from one of our major title sponsors, that's Samsung. And to give us this quick word from Samsung is Jumoke Okikiolu. Round of applause to her, please. You better clap, or everybody might be going away with Samsung phone, though.
Hi. I'm really not going to say a lot about definitions or trying to define new media and stuff like that, you guys. I'm just like do some sort of give a background to what I think when it comes to what we have right now in terms of new media and in terms of what's happening within the industry. I'm going to speak from a client point of view because that's who I am. I work with agencies who actually...
Is the mic? Okay, you just need to. You need to get into the mic. You need to caress the mic and just,
I'll try and do that. I'll try and romance the mic a little. Okay, can you guys hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, fine. So basically, for me, within the industry, most of the time when we look at, okay, as a brand, one of the things that we think about is how do I want to get my product out there? I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with a lot of Samsung activities in terms of campaigns and activities. Before we go out into the space, we have to think about, okay, who exactly do we want to talk to? Who are these people? What are their likes? What do they do? Where do they go? And stuff like that. And apart from that, we also have to think about, okay, how do we actually develop a strategy that we feel will actually connect with these consumers that we want to talk to? So here comes the agencies. Their job is actually to put together the strategy in terms of coming back to tell me, okay, this is what you want to achieve, and this is how we feel the best way you can achieve these things. But the challenges that we face as a brand is the fact that the agencies come back, and they come to tell us, okay, this particular platform has X number of followers or has X number of viewership or stuff like that, and for that reason, you should go there. But for me, it's not always the case. It's not about who has the highest followers. It's not about who has, the highest click-through rates or stuff like that. It's about what do the consumers want? Where do they go as the consumers for the specific products that I want to sell? Because I have different segmentations in terms of my products. I have different categorizations. I have premium, I have mid-range, I have entry. So how do you actually now, determine where to go, where to reach who? Those are the things that actually I think we need to address within the industry when it comes to us actually trying to standardize new media in Nigeria. So, and I'm hoping that with the panel this morning, we'll be able to talk about a few of those things, and some of us will have an idea of how best, to actually go back and, rebrand ourselves to come back in order to actually, challenge the industry with the kind of ideas we're going to come forth with to our clients and stuff like that. So that's what I'm hoping we'll be able to do today, and I hope we can start now. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for that. Brief introduction into our next session, which is all about standardizing new media practice in Nigeria. This is Chinedu or Abili Modu. I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name. Please forgive me. Subomi plumptre? Plumptre. I'm so sorry. I'm getting it all wrong today. I think I probably need to go back to school, but it's fine. Femi Falodun. And Ms. Jumoke Okikiolu, who we just heard from. It's okay, I'm getting more and more Nigerian by the day. I'll get there soon. And of course, our moderator is the beautiful Bolanle Olukanni.
Thank you, Mumbai. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Hi, how are you guys doing? Good? My name is Bolanle Olukanni. Can you guys hear me? All the way in the back? You think they can hear me? All right, cool. I'm really really excited to be here. This panel is going to be on standardizing new media practices in Nigeria. My name is Bolanle Olukanni. I am a TV host on Moments and also on Project Fame, and I host the online red carpet show. I'm so excited that Tosin asked me to be the moderator for this panel, specifically because when you're thinking about new media, it's something that is budding so much in Nigeria and in the space, and the question is, how do we standardize this? Even more so, do we need to standardize this? So I will first start with having all of our panelists welcome. You guys are looking a bit sober. I hope that this panel is going to be just as engaging as the last one, and hopefully there won't be any fights this time. I would like that each of you could please introduce yourself and just tell us briefly the scope of the work that you do and what you do specifically with new media.
Yeah, my name is Femi Falodun. I work with BHM Group, and I wear many hats, one of which is digital lead at ID Africa. ID Africa is a digital content and digital marketing and creative agency, a storytelling agency at that. I also work with BHM, that's Black House Media, a PR agency, and I sit on the group. So we own the Net NG, which is a publishing platform for entertainment across social and web and all that. We also organize Nigerian Entertainment Conference, which is a conference like this, but mostly for the entertainment industry in Nigeria and the creative industry in Nigeria, amongst other things that you'll find out down the road. So good morning.
My name is Subomi Plumptre. I run the strategy and social media groups at Alder Consulting. Alder Consulting is a strategy and branding firm. I also oversee HR and knowledge at the company.
My name is Jumoke Okikiolu. I'm the head of product marketing for Samsung Electronics West Africa, the mobile division. So basically, I supervise all campaigns from the mobile angle. Talking about mobile, I mean smartphones, tablets, and accessories that go with the smartphones.
So my name is Chinedu Abili Mordi. I'm a strategy and innovation lead at Hotsauce. I like to say lead, not head of department, because I provide leadership for my team. Strategy and innovation department works to help clients and brands understand, how to implement not just digital media, but basically the marketing and technology side of things. So marketing, media, technology mix, we actually help clients navigate that water. And then on the, which is officially as well, I actually, I'm the co-founder for an audio content platform called Vibio. It's targeted at the Nigerian market at the moment. So I'm sure a lot of us are exploring OAP and podcasting abilities. This platform is targeted at helping Nigerians, especially communicate their stories better. And I believe it's one of the key innovations that we at Hotsauce try to, bring into the market. So you'll be experiencing that very soon as well.
Now, the internet has done so well and thrived because it's the internet of things. There's so much stuff that's out there. And in so many ways, it's allowed for creativity where people who didn't have the access to publish and to speak their minds and had to go through traditional media, we now have the ability to do that, which is what's so great about the internet. So why should we consider standardizing new media in Nigeria?
Firstly, when we talk of standardization, I think we need to also understand that we are talking about regulation. Those are synonyms. And you do not regulate what you do not understand. And who are we talking about when we ask for regulation and standardization? Are you talking about the practitioners standardizing what they do, or are you talking about the government who runs the country standardizing the practice? So I think understanding what the problem is, or if there's a problem at all. So firstly, we say new media, which is a term I have problems with. What's new media? At what point did it become new? What's the line between the old media and the new media? We throw the word around a lot, but really, what's new media? If you ask yourself, there's a problem. Because at some point, mobile devices weren't what they are now. So what do you call that era? At some point, radio was new media. TV was new media. Now we're talking about VR, augmented reality. We're talking about artificial intelligence. We're talking about drones now. So it's a very messy thing, but let me not get us out of what we are supposed to focus on. So how do you regulate it? How do you standardize it? Firstly, I think we should not bring government into this discussion, because ordinarily with recent happenings, we saw the drone, was that a bill or a law or something about registering drones in Nigeria? $5,000, and in America you do that for $5 on a website with a few clicks. Nigeria, you wait 6 months or even more. So it just shows you the thinking of the government of this country. And by government, I'm not talking about Buhari or GJ or anybody. It's just the system that controls Nigeria. They do not understand these things. So firstly, they need to understand what that space is. It's not about bloggers. This is not about Linda Ikeji taking your story. No, it's not about somebody tweeting or somebody impersonating a public figure on social media, which is also part of what some laws are already covering. So the question is, we need to first understand the nature of the problem, if there's a problem, and then talk about how to standardize. Personally, I'm all for the practitioner practice. So a marketer or a developer or person, I would rather industry. Hello? Yeah, I would rather have my industry and people of like minds, people who do what I do, agree, whether at a table or based on the quality of the work we do, what the standards should be. So if I'm serving people with social media marketing, the standard of what I do should be based on the best practice in terms of quality. Who does it best? Who gets the best results? What are they doing? Everybody should align based on the people who get the best results. I think that's the kind of standards we should go for. But of course, along the way, government will come in and try to regulate what they do not understand. We saw that with Mopicon bill with the filmmakers. We are seeing that with drones now. So you can't even innovate with drones because you have to go through so many processes. You have to have a certain amount of money, which particularly just kills off the startups. So it's a very big problem. And I'm thinking, what happens when we get AI in Nigeria? What happens with 3D technology? What happens with self-driving, driverless cars? It's just a whole lot of mess that's coming down the line if the people who are trying to regulate or standardize do not understand what that space is about. Let me not keep
Okay, the first thing I need to say is don't be naive. If you don't regulate yourself, you'll be regulated. With one stroke of the pen, government can define your destiny, and government can define the fate of your business, no matter who you are, no matter how much noise you make. With one stroke of the pen, your entire business can come crumbling down because of one act or one bill or one regulation by government. So I would say don't be naive. You need to be able to organize. New media practitioners need to be able to form a very strong lobby group. You need to have contacts at the Advertising Practitioners Council of Nigeria. You need to have contacts at the Ministry of Culture. You need to have contacts at the Ministry of Information. These are the regulatory agencies that concern you. If you're not concerned about their activities, then you can't complain after the law has been made or after the regulation has been passed. You were simply absent at the table, and they took a decision without you. One of the things you need to know is that they're coming for new media because it's a source of revenue for them. In AppCon, to place an advert, I happen to be a member of AppCon. To place an advert, you pay. Every advert you place in the newspaper, on radio, you pay. So social media is a source of revenue for government. And at some point, if they can't find you in your physical office, they're going to start sending you tax requests via email. You know, so it's going to happen. You know, you just need to be able to be proactive and organize yourself into a lobby. All of the infighting and the nitpicking among members of the new media industry has to stop because when they come against one person, that it affects everybody. So at some point, you've got to sheathe your swords and put aside your differences and come together and begin to build very strong lobby groups so that you can protect your industry and regulate yourself before they regulate you.
Thank you. I totally agree with what they've said in terms of the industry being regulated. Believe me, it will be regulated because, like she said, the government makes a lot of money from like traditional media. as a company, when I want to place ads, I pay for each and every creative concept. Not just that, okay, I want to like go and place ads in the papers. If I have 2 different concepts, I'm paying for both of them separately. So these are things that, these are areas where government make money. And you are running a promo, you pay a lot of money for promotions as well. A lot of promotions get run on the social media, on digital, and nobody pays anything. And that's why you see a lot of things happening there. Oh, this promo here, win this here, win this here. Believe me, on traditional media, you cannot do that. You would be hounded by APCON, you'll be hounded by Lottery Commission, you'll be hounded by so many people. So believe me, government is coming, and especially this government, they're looking for money, so they're going to come, believe me. So that is one aspect. So I believe that you guys, like she said, you guys need to like put up a united front and actually organize yourself, so that when this storm comes, you'll be at least be able to have a say, in the whole thing. So that is one aspect of standardization. The other aspect I'm going to talk about is from my own point of view in terms of the industry itself. As an advertiser, why would I come to you, your platform, to advertise? That is the area I'm going to take it from.
Jumoke, 1 second. I need to make a quick announcement. Those who are shortlisted for the Orange Academy, please head to the registration. For the Orange Academy, please head to the registration. They're waiting for you. Did you guys hear me at the back? If you are shortlisted for the Orange Academy, please head to the registration and ask for Ezine. Okay. She's wearing red.
Okay. All right. So I would like to believe that those of us who are in the business, or those of us who intend to actually go into the business, we are going into it because we want to make money. Am I wrong? So definitely, if you want to make money and you want to go into it because you want to make money, you need to be able to deliver something that is of quality. I'm not going to come to you and say, oh, I want to use you as an influencer on my campaign or place an ad on your blog if I don't understand your philosophy as a business, because I believe that you are a business. Whether you are a blogger or whoever you are a business. If I don't understand your philosophy in terms of what do you stand for, you understand? Who are your audience? You get all those things have to be defined, because that is what I'm looking for. I have different products with different needs, and I have to be able to identify where to place what. If I'm not able to place you in any category or in any bracket that I would like to go, I'm not going to look at you. So that is another way of you standardizing your business in terms of within the industry. So you need to stand for something. You need to have a target audience. You cannot, believe me, talk to everybody all of the time. You cannot mean something to everybody. So know who you want to mean something to, know who you want to go, you want to catch, you want to capture, and then just go for it. Everybody, most people who have been in the industry long enough have done that. Linda Ikeji, she's done that. She's a gossip blog. So if you want entertainment, you want to know what's happening, you want to hear the gist, you go there. So if I'm looking for a consumer within that psychography, then I know where to go. You get what I'm trying to say? If my business is more something that is more, a lot more serious, and I want to come across as being very serious, then I know where to go. You understand me? So you need to standardize your business in that aspect as well, because that is the only way. That is the only reason a brand like me is going to come to you. In Samsung, we do a lot of activities whereby we believe that for new media, it's all about, for me, the important thing is all about feedback. It's the only medium whereby I can actually run a campaign and get feedback immediately, and be sure of, okay, who is going there, how many people are going there, how many people are clicking. If I place an ad in a newspaper, I don't know who is reading it. I had to carry out a survey later on after the campaign has ended to know, okay, fine, what was the top of mind, who saw this. But for new media, it's so different. You can get the information immediately, and that's why I'm going there. So one of the things, again, that I look at is when placing a campaign, it's not about how popular you are or in terms of how maybe you've made a name for yourselves. Recently, when we launched the Galaxy X7, one of the things that we did was to pick people who had fresh ideas, people who were fresh within the new media space. And I said, okay, I wanted to be able to develop organic conversations, nothing forced. I wanted it to be organic. I wanted it to be simple. And we picked people, and what we did was that we gave them the phone. We were like, okay, here's a phone, unscripted, go and use it, and write about whatever you think about it. And it was fantastic. So those are the things that, the people I selected were people I felt, okay, had the philosophy I was looking for, could associate with the consumers that I wanted to reach, had the followership that was, interesting enough, and could represent my brand the way I want it to be represented. So these are the things you guys need to look at if you actually really want to commercialize what you do. Thank you.
Okay. I just wanted to establish something quickly because in thinking of new media, most of the times we kind of mix it up and imagine that what we actually call new media is actually new marketing. Okay. Now, where am I getting at? Over time, there's been a progressive history of what media has been, from print to radio to news, and to news to TV, and then today the internet. So obviously, every time there's always a mass medium that drives, the new media of that time. Okay, so the new media of our time today is driven by the web, okay, and the technology is the internet. But the fear is that because we don't have so much control over that technology, government, other players want to regulate, because the understanding is that if we do not regulate it, over time we have no control and we cannot, fashion the media the way it should actually reach the people. But here, so most of us are players in this new media space, and we're the ones driving the conversation. It's two-way now. It's not just one way where people will send you stuff. You can actually give feedback to the brand and the rest. What actually is the problem with standardization? I think that the problem is that, like Subomi pointed out, understanding. So because the people who are driving it are younger, but the people who are leading the policies are a bit older, there is a difference in thinking, in mindset. So if, for instance, we look at the policies that are to standardize media, for print and for TV, for instance, most of the APCON and AAAN, most of those structures don't know how to factor in digital. And they don't. And, sorry? Okay. And because of that, there's a high chance that that difference is already causing what our understanding for standardization should be. And then I'm throwing it back that if we don't, and this is taking it very easily, if we do not actually begin to put the standards by ourselves, we'll have a situation where this is an industry where the barrier of entry is very low. It begins to water down the effect of what new media is. And looking into the future, for instance, we have situations where, pointed out, artificial intelligence is coming into play and into bear. We haven't even conquered or arranged our digital aspect. And for digital, it's about culture. So, okay, that was weird. I was wondering why everybody was looking back. For digital, it's about culture and behaviors. So, our mobile phones, our behavior on laptops, our behavior even with the way we communicate with our friends on all these platforms are all cultures that are subliminally embedded in us and are driving the way we interact and are driving the way we fashion media, which is why, like I said, new media is becoming a thing where it's now clearly a behavioral pattern that older people are finding it difficult to put those rules and regulations in play. Okay, so that said, I feel like there is an importance for us to nominate, to have people who would champion the strategy that requires putting together, thinking through what are the best ways, what are the standards, and also looking at how best to, put those things that are required in play. I'll give you an example. A lot of brands today, and Jumoke, you might actually, also add to this. A lot of brands today are using what they call PO, that's paid, owned, and earned media channels. Okay. Now they already are looking at that. They pay so much for the media channels with the bloggers, for instance. But how do you get your own owned media channel? How do you build your own media that can help you ease the burden? Okay. How do you earn conversation online without actually paying? How do you influence that with PR strategically? So all those things they're already frameworks, they're already thinkings in play, but it's just to get the right people in the room, to put them together and say, okay, guys, this is the long-term goal. And by long-term, I'm looking at the fact that, or we're looking at the fact that it's not just about today, it's not just about the end of the year. 5 years from now, what would the media scene look like? And my last play, would be content. We, as a country, have our own unique content, and that's what actually drives media. That's what actually shapes conversation. That actually has to come to the front. Who says, for instance, that the Facebooks and the Twitters, the platforms that we're using today, who says that young people here cannot create their own unique platforms? Snapchat, Americans, you get. The thing is that in Germany, in China, some of these countries already have platforms that they've created and are blocking intentionally the foreign platforms from coming over because there are unique cultures, unique mentalities that need to be addressed. So I'm throwing that back as a challenge because it's important that we don't just think about us using the social media platforms that are available like Facebook or Twitter, but also to encourage new media platforms from inside to come forward and address our own unique situations. Okay, thank you.
Cool. All right, thanks, guys. I think we've opened up the conversation, and it's interesting that you guys mentioned government regulation, but then there was also what Jumoke mentioned about quality. And I want to go down the route of quality because I think it's very important. A lot of the conference members and attendees were people who create content. And the issue of quality, I think, is a big one, right? There is a huge copy and paste culture when it comes to the blogs, when it comes to not crediting people when you take their content. Now, do you guys think that we need to actually apply the same policies in traditional media to the digital space? Because now it's becoming the norm, and it works. It might be different in other countries. Maybe in Nigeria, we do blogging different. Maybe in Nigeria, the way we talk about things is different. Should it be that we should take traditional policies and apply it to the digital space when it comes to content quality?
I think you're talking about plagiarism directly. The challenge with...
And what does plagiarism look like?
Okay.
What are we breaking down on the new media?
Without taking jabs on anybody, I think we've all experienced one blog or the other where there is content from that blog that was originally posted on somebody else's blog, and then that person, because they have more mass following, looks like they were the ones that created that content, but which is wrong. They didn't credit the person who they got the information from, and the source begins to get, the problem that, or gets the feeling that my content has been lifted. There's all that whole bickering and fighting. But, here, and I think if there's anybody from, for example, Google here, there's an important thing that I have to address and note. Most of these platforms can actually be regulated. So like Blogger, for instance, you can actually report and have Blogger suspend a blog, okay? WordPress, the same thing. But those channels have not been explored properly because we don't even have the structures to explore them. So, for instance, Google is here, but most of what they're doing is much about pushing, ad support, training for that. But there isn't anything, there aren't direct actions against plagiarism. Those have to come to play. Because we have to be very frank and honest, while, and I don't know if anybody from Google is here, but while we're actually pushing the idea of having Google push out their ads and the rest and content with YouTube, there also has to be a strong way for Google to say, our big players, these are the reports, these are some of the things that we've experienced with the platform, and it's giving you guys a bad name. Please, align. And that would help, the big players not encroach on content of the smaller players, just copy and paste. It would allow for more creativity. It would allow for more of the ability for these guys to have their people go out and actually find news, not just sit down and comb the internet, pick up other people's news and push it forward. So that's what I think. I want other people to add.
I spoke earlier about government regulation, and I'm not sure, but is there anybody from the government on attending the conference? Do we, I don't know, is tossing around? Okay. So in a gathering like this, not having representatives of whether it's the Federal Ministry of Information or Technology present means that we'll have a big chatter, we'll all get excited, we'll say some powerful things and go home, and the next year probably say the same things on and on and on. And like I said, the government doesn't understand this space. Subomi spoke earlier about APCON and AAA, and okay, I think Hotsauce said that about how they find it difficult to understand this new media space. So I think, firstly, a lobby group is a brilliant idea, and I think it should start from a gathering like this. If all of us here who have a stake in new media and who do our business online can sit down and form this strong group. It's not a very Nigerian thing. We are used to associations and all societies and things. But lobby groups are a very major part of how the American system works, how they make government come up with laws that favor this or that. I think we need to get in that mode, and I think that's what will save this new media space, whether you're talking about plagiarism, because personally, I don't think the rules that apply to newsprint and TV, radio would work for online. I'm 100% sure that it won't work.
Femi, what kind of rules would you want to imagine on new
Okay,
media?
because this is a problem that hasn't been solved anywhere in the world. The Shade Room still takes content. They were shut down on Facebook recently, and you know how powerful and how big that platform is. Everybody takes stuff from TMZ without giving credit. But see what TMZ does. They get this very exclusive content. They mark it very strongly. They have a certain style to what they produce, content. You can't take their stuff and people will not know that, oh, this is TMZ. Also, with video, it's easier to mark your stuff compared to text. So the more you transform your content type from the traditional text to more videos, memes, GIFs, audio visuals, it gets much more difficult for somebody to steal your stuff and get away with it. So personally, I would rather go in that direction than try to figure out the way to regulate plagiarism online, because it's a huge problem that not even Google can shut you down, because at the end of the day, then they will start going beyond their boundaries and start stepping. So how do they tell who came up with the idea first? How can you tell who recorded first or who got the news first? It's a really very difficult thing, and the lines are very thin between borrowing stuff and plagiarism that is outright. So,
Jumoke, what do you think about what Femi said about not being able to really understand what it's like on media?
Yeah, it's very correct. In terms of the way the industry is structured right now, you can't, there's no way you can actually like put an end to plagiarism and copyright issues. It's difficult. But the thing is, like it said, if you try to place some sort of markers or signatures on the materials that you churn out, then it makes it a bit difficult for somebody else to actually come and take and use. But when you started this particular conversation, you mentioned something apart from the fact that in terms of copyright issues and plagiarism and stuff like that. The challenge is the reason why most people do that, as in copy and paste and all that. I'm telling you, it's just lack of creativity on the part of most of the people that come up with these materials. And I'm saying this because I know I'm in that space. That is what I do. It's my job. I'm looking for how best for me to take my products to the consumer, and the platforms that I use are what you guys are supposed to help develop and make that happen. But in a situation whereby I look at a blog and it's not well written, it's not well constructed, it's not, sometimes you look at some of them, you read some of them, there are grammar issues, there are issues that you don't expect me to come and place my product on a blog, because I have a brand to protect, I have an image to maintain, so I'm not going to do that. So one of the things I think that we can actually take from traditional media, because a lot of the people that are seated here today, they have traditional media background. In traditional media, in an agency, and you have different units. You have the strategy unit, You know, they sit down. I came from the traditional, from the agency background, so I know what I'm talking about. They have the strategy aspect. They come down, they develop the ideas. Okay, what do I want to churn out? They develop the ideas, they put it together. They have the creative unit, they have visualizers, they have artists, they have copywriters, you know, and then they have different units, have production units who actually go ahead to do the production after it's been conceptualized and everything. And we have all these units, and you know, each person does his own stuff based on their specialization, you know, and at the end of the day, you have, you know, something that is near perfect. The same thing should apply to online new media, in the sense that from the agency perspective and also from the perspective of those who own the content, you cannot be the owner of the blog and be the photographer and be the writer and be the strategist and do everything. You can't, it's not possible. I had marketing in Samsung. I'm not a new media specialist. I come from the traditional media platform. I have somebody who handles that. I only supervise. I'm always willing to learn. Okay, what's this about? Okay, what's the new idea? Okay, are you looking at it from this perspective? And I look at everything. So you need to ensure that you do the same thing. Yes, you have a blog. You might say, oh, I just have a blog. I'm just starting up. Yes, you're just starting up, but notwithstanding, you cannot do everything. You can't be the master of all trade. You need to have people who are going to actually assist you. You need someone who can write to do the writing. I can't write.
Jumoke, what happens though if you're a one-man team and you're a startup? I mean, there are very few people that are going to be able to afford a writer, a photographer, and everything.
I get what you're saying, but you need to start from somewhere. Everybody starts from somewhere. You can start from, okay, let me say, okay, Instagram page. That should be your specialization. So basically, you look at things. Okay, let me give an example. There's a lady, I can't remember her name. The lady that went to Abeokuta. What's her name again? Makida. I don't know if you guys know who she is. She is the model, and she goes into a few things. So what she does is, she goes to places, she takes pictures, like she's going like as a tourist to look up locations within Nigeria. And she takes pictures of herself in those places, and she uploads them on her Instagram page, short videos, and writes about them. And it's so interesting. It's so interesting that we found out about her, and we're like, okay, fine. I want this girl to actually take one of my products and go on such an activity and just use the products to take the pictures and do the videos, and then let our followers see the difference within the quality of the pictures she takes now and what she's been doing before. You understand? She's starting small. You get? So it's not a blog. By the time you start like that and you get people and you do a good job, even if it's just you taking a picture or stuff like that, or writing a one-liner, Instagram, you probably just put a few words. Nobody expects you to write a prose. You understand what I'm trying to say? So if you start like that, by the time you want to now move on to the next step, you cannot go alone. You need one or two people to come with you. So you cannot be the copywriter, you cannot be the photographer. You can't, it's not possible. You will have a mess, I'm telling you for a fact. You have a mess on your hands because it's not possible. I can't write to save my life, but I have people in my unit who can do that. And I look at what they've written and I make comments and stuff like that. So that's the way. I cannot be the person who does the strategy, who does the create. It's not possible. So we need to try and do that. You need to have that at the back of your hand. Sometimes some people, it's not like they cannot actually get people to assist them or bring people in. But it's because, why would I want to share this small money that is coming? But you don't start a business like that. If you're starting a business,
you can't be the jack of all trades.
Exactly, you can't. You need to do this thing. So that's where quality comes in. And so when you cannot actually develop something that is creative, then you go about looking to take from somebody else what somebody else has done. Okay, let me take a picture from here, or let me take this paragraph from here. And then you now
which is another version of plagiarism. But exactly. I want to talk a little bit about metrics, and Subomi, I hope you can answer this. You know, when it comes to new media, and specifically with brands that are using new media, digital marketing agencies, it's interesting because Instagram is now going to start an Instagram for business, and there's going to be an option for analytics where we can see how many people are following you, what times they're following you. Do you believe that those specific standards that, you know, these online platforms offer us should be exactly applied to the Nigerian market space?
Yes, because we're putting money behind it. And for every naira we put behind a marketing campaign, we must be able to measure the return on investment, or else it means we're just, dashing money to new media professionals. So analytics matter, In my business, I never look at things like impressions or reach because I know people buy followers. So I'm not interested in how many impressions I get. I'm not interested in the reach that I get. What I look for is engagement. So if you have 1 million followers, what is the level of engagement relative to 1 million followers? So if someone with 1 million followers has a 2% engagement rate, and then someone with 50,000 followers has a 50% engagement rate, I'm more likely to go with a person with 50,000 followers because it means he's engaging the audience and there's a return on investment. So a lot of brands are going to keep using analytics because they have to justify it to management. So the branding team is like a lot of times, except you work for a GT Bank, for example, where the branding team is extremely important. The branding team usually is in middle management. At some point, they're going to report to top management. And top management is going to ask for the graphs and charts. How did you spend this money? We put a budget of 1 million into marketing or into new media. What is the return on investment? What did you guys do with the money that we gave? The branding, the new media unit is going to have to justify next year's budget. So at some point, a lot of managers are going to begin to pay attention to the return on investment. So it's not enough for you to have to come to a brand and say, oh, we have 100 people reading our blog. What does that really mean, in terms of return on investment? If the 1 million people are reading your blog, and at the end of the day, they don't click buy at the end of my adverts, then your 1 million readers are of no use to my brand. So analytics at some point, a lot of brand managers, a lot of people who are in charge of digital media units are going to begin to ask for the numbers, and are going to begin to ask for the return on investment of whatever money they put into a campaign or a promo.
I completely agree with you. All right, it's now time for a question and answer segment.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lola. I'm a social media manager. Out of curiosity and fear, like you said, once upon a time, newspaper was new media. News was new media, and so many things were new medias at some point. So, predict the future a little bit. Our new media now, what is it going to be like, let's say, in 5 years? Is it going to be the new media, or there will be evolution?
Your question is to, the panel. What's your name again? Lola. Do you know my future in 5 years? All right, one more.
Good afternoon. I'm Wale Afolayan. Please, some years back, let me go straight. Some years back, I still have it anyway. It's a TV content, and I'm trying to bring it alive, and I would like. It's difficult for me not to tell somebody because I'm going to have to do presentations. So I went to Nigeria Copyright Commission. And I wrote them and I sat down with them and I said, please, can you help me protect this pregnancy? I don't know what the future will say and that. You know what they told me? They said, do you have it on air already? I said, no. Go and put it on air. I said, if I had money to put it on air, I wouldn't need you to protect it for me. He said, no, you won't be able to say it until somebody puts it on. I said, if anyone steals it from me now and takes it to the air, so is the owner. Please, what can you tell us about Nigerian Copyright Commission, copyright and patency?
Is that okay? So let's take those two. That particular. No, I know while is that question anybody? Okay. Have you put it on air yet? No? Okay.
Sorry, let me. Yeah. I can't speak on the copyright law because I hope there are lawyers here who can, or someone else who can help. But I can speak on the future of media. We're already seeing the signs. So I was born in the 80s, and I can still remember a time so different from where we are now. I remember my first email address and how I practically begged someone to fix it for me. I remember the first person I knew who had his name.com, and I used to look at the guy in school like, wow, this guy is a god. And I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm not talking about even 15 years ago. So you'll be surprised how quickly things change. If you watch what happened at the F8, that's the Facebook Developer Conference, just a few weeks ago, and Google had theirs too recently. You can tell where we are going. They are talking more about chatbots, which may, at the end of the day, kill off the need for customer service online, whereby artificial intelligence, computer program, responds to your needs. So you have a problem with a telco because they charged you too much, or you're having problems with your network, and it's a computer program that talks to you and solves that problem for you via Facebook or Twitter or or WhatsApp or wherever. What does that tell you? That tells you that the need for the influencer just might no longer be necessary along the line. But one thing that I can be sure of that will survive, whatever, because nobody really can predict. What I'm sure of that will survive is good content. As long as we are humans, we always want content. So whatever the medium is, the good storytellers, when they were writing on graffiti on the wall in caves during the caveman days, the good storytellers then would still be good storytellers now. All they just need is to apply that knowledge of storytelling to whatever medium or platform that exists. So I'll just advise you to be a good storyteller and not be afraid for the future.
Yes, the next one. On protecting your idea, I'm not a lawyer, so I'm not going to talk about the legal aspect of protecting your idea. In Nigeria, we have the concept of godfathers. It can be a negative concept and it can be a positive concept. And that's because the business industry in Nigeria is extremely small. So for example, if you have an idea in oil and gas, as you progress and progress and progress, at some point you're going to jam a Femi or Tedola or jam somebody else in that sector. Because the business sector is very small, at some point you will always meet certain people in every sector. So for example, in the TV industry, assuming you had an idea, at some point you jam Ebony Live TV or you jam NTA. The traditional media sector is also very small. So at some point you know who the players are. Now, what you need to do, instead of presenting ideas yourself and trying to spend a lot of money protecting ideas, what I normally do is when I have an idea to present, say I'm trying to cold call a company or trying to present to some big organization or some brand, I never go alone. I go with a senior friend in that industry, and that person becomes my protection. Because if you steal my idea, you will offend that person. And because the business environment is very small, you don't want to offend that person. So that's what I do practically to protect my idea. I never go for a presentation alone. I look for someone who is well known within that industry or at least has a connection in that industry. And I present to that person first, and then I get that person to go along with me or to introduce me to that industry. And there are ways you can form those kinds of connections. We can meet after the session. Very practical ways to form those kinds of connections.
Nice. So Subomi is saying she will be your bodyguard.
Sorry.
Chinedu, did you
Just
wanna?
yes,
Okay.
just to add, and I like to always give like a solution that you can directly use. Why do you have to put it on TV? Why not put it online? Why not start a YouTube channel? Now, there's a reason why I feel they might have told you to put it up first, and which is something that we didn't take out. I took out immediately. You have proof, time-dated proof that your content is out. So if anybody tries to copy it, you have proof to show that that content has been running for a while. And then you can amass like good followership as well online, even before you start going to TV. The rest, that's it.
Thanks a lot, Chinedu. Any lawyer in the house? Any lawyer? Lawyer. Okay, this issue of like, I'm a songwriter, I write a song. The fact that it's already written, is it trademark or copyright? Which one does it cover first? Huh? Copyright. Okay, it's to answer your question, because I think that's what they wanted you to establish, the fact, which is what Chinedu was saying. You don't have to go and register it. Once it's in form, in a print form or a written form, it's already copywritten or copyrighted. All right, 2 more questions. We have 1 question in front and 1 at the back. Your name, your question, very quickly, please.
All right, my name is Tolu again. I think this will go to Jumoke and Subomi, and this is about influencers versus celebrities. In recent time, particularly in the West, the influence of celebrities is declining, and you're finding a lot of these products like Samsung and Go and Co going to influencers, people who have niche markets or niche followings online. How can each individual here become an influencer? And Subomi talked about the fact that the 50,000 follower who has engagement versus the person who has 1 million followers and who doesn't engage, who can't prove their level of engagement. So how can individuals become influencers in niches and then, of course, monetize it for future use?
Okay, that's a great one. Spoiler alerts, by the way, for those on Instagram, if you want to know if the person's followers are the real followers, you look at the numbers, then you look at the average number of likes on the picture. That's how you know. So, for example, you see 1 million followers, 2 likes. It's not rocket science, guys. One more question. Okay, let me take this and I'll come to the back, okay?
All right, thank you very much. My question is directed to Jumoke. I am actually a photo blogger, and I am new as well. I have realized over time, based on research, I'm actually an accountant too at the same time, based on research that it is usually difficult for you to approach brands when you are new. And for my kind of blogging, I've realized that I am more photo-oriented. So if I'm about to commence a project that is capital intensive and will be of huge help to a particular brand, I've noticed it's usually difficult to approach that brand if you're a new blogger. Now, there's this idea that I have, and I realized that a top brand will help that idea. But when you go to them, they tell you, what is your readers' engagement? We need the numbers, 1 million followers, 40%. They give you all sorts of figures. I am just a bloody writer and a photographer. How do you want me to get that out? No, I'm still going there, but I'm saying you have a unique content. This is what you want to do. I want to start photo evangelism. I need a brand to support me. I go to brands, they tell you, give me the numbers. What are you guys doing to help new startups in that regard?
That's a good question.
Talk to us.
I don't have an advertiser's money, I beg.
So we have the questions. I didn't get the question. Did you get the question? Okay.
Okay, the two questions are kind of like similar. So the thing is, one thing you need to understand is, number one, let me start with how to start if you want to like go become an influencer. See, you can't expect that. You can't wake up one morning and say, oh, I want to become an influencer. And the next thing you go to a brand and say, oh, I'm an influencer, so I want to start now. Come and support me. Then I start. Nobody's going to listen to you. I'm sorry, but they're not. Because for every, I think what Subomi mentioned, for everything that I do, for every dime I spend, I have to show ROI. I have for every idea. One thing about me, my colleague is there and knows me very well. He handles digital. So he comes to me and say, oh, there's this fantastic idea. This is it. This person, blah, 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 blah. And I look at it, I'm like, okay, sounds interesting. And I look at it and I look at, okay, so let me see. Management, let me look at it, let me analyze it. I never fight battles I cannot win. Anything I take to my management, it has to be a yes. If I know they're not going to say yes, I'm not going to go. That's me. And he knows. So I'm like, this thing, I'm not going to take it unless it's fine-tuned. Because I would not go to them and tell them, come and invest money in something. And they will look at me and be like, I wish we hired the right person. This baby is wasting our money. You know? So you need to start. Start. You can't expect to be paid. Let me tell you something. It's just like you starting school. You start school. You know, you start secondary school, you start university. You are doing that because you want to like have a source of living one day. Do you expect that, okay, you start university and then you go to the company and say, okay, I've started university, last time I start paying me salary. That's it. You need to build some sort of credibility. You need to build some sort of credibility. You need to build your name as an influencer. So start doing quality things. And you cannot do that without doing, if you don't do quality things. Do quality things. Like I said before, you know, carve a niche for yourself. Who are you? What do you want to represent? What do you want to push out there? You know, you have to have a philosophy. You have to stand for something. You have to have a particular audience that you want to like, you know what you want them to be, okay, these are my audience. So you need to churn out things that would actually suit those people, and those people would like. That's the only way they come following you. So you need to start doing that first of all. Then when you now start and you've established yourself, you've gotten the number of followers, and you know that anything you post, people, click like, and you have the confidence to say, okay, fine. Then you can go and say, oh, this is what I do. This is my platform. This is what I do. This is what I represent, and I would like for you to support me in X, Y, Z. That's the only way I'm going to listen to you. Believe me, because people come to me, sorry, let me not try and address your stuff. How long have you been doing this? Is this your first project? Or you've done things before? Do you actually have a photo blog presently? And it's doing very well, it's flourishing very well. Yeah, very well. So let me tell you something. You need to actually have something that you have to have a ground for me to stand on as a brand. If you don't, I'm not going to come. If you come meet me and say, oh, this is my proposal, and I see that if I do it, it's not going to give me any ROI, do you understand? I'm not going to come because I'm not going to throw away money. So you need to be able to prove that, yes, no matter how small, even if it's just 50,000 followers that you have or 10,000, if I know that they are genuine and I know that, okay, they are the kind of, and another thing is that you can't come and meet me about something that my brand does not stand for and expect me to jump on it. No. I have my goal, I have my objectives, I have, my brand stands for something. And if whatever you're doing does not align with my brand stands for, I can't come. So you just need to kind of like understand that before you go to brands. I'm an OEM. If the idea would rather suit a FMCG, then go and meet an FMCG. Don't come and meet me. You get what I'm trying to say? You need to understand that as well before you go meet people. Because the people come and like, oh, I have this idea, and I'm like, okay, it's for kids. The product is for kids. My consumers are not kids. You get what I'm trying to say, yeah. So,
yeah. Very quickly, I just wanted to address the two questions. There's a lot of money that flows through advertising agencies. Creative people go and register with advertising agencies. There's a campaign I'm running that is going to require photo bloggers. Now, I contracted that out to Red Media. It's a waste of my executive time to interview photo bloggers one by one. So I would rather ask a Red Media that is an agency to go look for bloggers for me, go look for influencers for me, and then I pay Red Media. But if you're not registered as a photo blogger of interest with Red Media, if you're not registered as a writer with Red Media, you're not going to get that contract. So there's a lot of money that advertising agencies control, that if you were registered with them, the brands will then get to use you through the advertising agency. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you need to go register. If you're a creative person, go register with an advertising agency. They will flow a lot of jobs, to you. The difference between a celebrity and an influencer is simple. A celebrity gets your product known about. An influencer gets people to buy. They're two different things. So if I want to get a product known in Nigeria, I would use a Don Jazzy. But if I want people to buy a product, I'm not going to use a Don Jazzy, because Don Jazzy is known for giving out recharge card and giving out money. So he gives out things, do you understand? He doesn't get people to buy things and to spend their own money. So I would rather look for someone who has a track record of getting people to buy things. If I'm looking for an influencer, that's the difference between the two.
Thank you, guys.
By the way, that was ddisblog.com. All right, so you guys should check this out, ddisblog.com. There's no point talking all this talk if we can't literally help someone. So ddisblog.com, and his Twitter is ddisblog, Instagram ddisblog, manager Oscar. All right, time is fast spent, but I want to take one question. There's a lady. Can you stand up, please? Okay, can you shout? Okay, no, it's too... I'm so sorry, Didi. Oh, D-E-O, my bad. Spell D-E-E-D-E-E-S. Didi's blog. Boss, you need to go back to school. That's not how they spell Didi. All right, just pass this mic down to her, please. This is the last question because this panel is up.
Jumoke, I'm a bit curious. Jumoke, I have a quick question while the mic is getting down to her. You mentioned numbers, and I know that you said it doesn't really matter in terms of how much numbers, but engagement. Is there usually a average number or a minimum that most brands are looking for when it comes to doing partnerships?
To be honest, there isn't. You need to understand that because for every activity I'm running, I have an objective. It depends on what I want to do with what that particular thing, and who I want to talk to. So there is not fixed. Okay, that it has to be up to 1,000 or 1 million. No, it depends on what the project is, what my objectives are, what I'm trying to achieve, and stuff like that. So it really doesn't matter with the number, as long as you do quality work, and as long as you have that believability.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ronke Employment. That's my Twitter name. I came here to learn about the business of social media and how we can use that to drive real employment solutions. I run a company called Employment Clinic. But I observed our business is a little bit serious. But how do we get the people? When it comes to the employment industry, like the first panel was trying to highlight something. We found out that the young people are more of music, entertainment, swag, and all that. But when it comes to the real table, the issues are serious. So we are not a platform that we can actually skill so what people really want, the young people, most importantly, because simultaneously we deal with policymakers, we deal with industry people, and all that. But what we are trying to do is to integrate young people into these industries that are not that they are not known, but nobody is communicating. Like the maritime industry, 1 and 2 years. Many young people in Nigeria don't know about it. Yet I have over 5,000 employment there. So that kind of platform, how do we make it more interesting to young people without necessarily going down to the standard of entertainment, swag, and all that? Please, I would like the panel to please help me out.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay.
By the way, there's nothing wrong with entertainment swag. I want to spoil my market. Who's answering that?
I think the first thing is who's telling your story. So on your team, who's interacting with the public? So that person has to be either somebody who's young and understands the language of the young people, or somebody older who also still understands the language of the young people. I think storytelling works. So tell stories of people who got jobs if you are trying to get people who are looking for jobs to come to you. Then study models. Jobberman has done an amazing job of building a digital platform around jobs. Nairaland was mostly known for jobs for a long time. I don't know if that's still the major reason why people go to Nairaland now. But, but I think storytelling works. So turn yourself from someone who's advertising jobs to someone who's telling stories of job seekers, job founders, and jobs. And in those stories, you get all of us to come in and see what you're doing.
All right. Thank you so much, Femi. Thank
Sorry,
you, Subomi.
just one more thing to interrupt. Friend of mine, this is Deji. Most of you know Deji. Round of applause. He's been into media for TV especially. So he wanted to address your question. Wale, right? Is it Wale? Wale.
All right. Hi, my name is Deji Falokwe. I've been doing TV and radio for maybe a decade. Started when I was, 3 years old. So, yeah, Sound City Channel, a bunch of them. Now, I want to respond to your question about, patenting or copyrighting your content on television. It's actually impossible to copyright that completely or patent it or have a trademark on it. Reason is this: whatever idea you want to put up on television, somebody somewhere in another part of the world has had that on television or radio at some point, or they can claim to have done that. If you have your idea in Nigeria, and I've run that in, let's say, Canada, for example, if I want to run that in Nigeria now, you cannot stop me. So what you can do is pick specific elements of whatever brand you're creating, and you can have those registered. For example, nobody can come up with a show called Who Wants to Be a Millionaire without paying INE, because he's be able to, hold on to that name. You can design a show that looks like that, but you're not going to be able to use the name. So the best you can do, realistically, is have an element or a couple of elements and have people know that whenever this name comes up, this is the kind of idea. So pretty much you have first mover advantage. That's pretty much all you can bet on. But having to copyright an idea, that's totally impossible. Sorry. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, we need to, I think, Tosin, we need to get a copyright somebody. inside.
I think we should let Vimbai address her
Do you want
point
to?
and her perspective.
Okay, so I've been in production for a few years now. Sorry. And in television, we have what we call formats that come with format Bibles. Now, Big Brother is a format. The Bachelor is a format. Desperate Housewives is a format. And basically, once you create a format Bible, which says that this is a television show that has a cast of 20, there will be women who interact in such a way from such a location, it's a format Bible, and you own that. And nobody can use that without you. Now, what you can also challenge in court or legally is anything that has direct impersonations of that. So, because what I can do is I can create a show called Big Sister, but if it's still in a house with 20 housemates, they get evicted every Sunday, da-da-da, I can still challenge it because it has adopted my format. So the formats do stand, and formats are a way that huge corporations like Endemol, they're the production company that own the rights to Big Brother globally. That's how Endemol makes money, because nobody can recreate what they've created. They own the format. So I just want to clarify that.
All right. Thank you, Vimbai.
Thanks a lot, Vimbai.
Thank you so much to all of our panelists.
Wait, sorry to cut you. Chinedu just wanted to throw in one more thing. By the way, we still have the workshop on content marketing coming up, and of course the New Media Conference Showcase. That's by the Orange Academy. Before Chinedu, there's something I wanted to throw in. There's the lady at the back said something, and I just wanted to give you a real life experience. Now, there's something, I've been in media, TV, radio for about 12 years, but in my journey as an MC, I found out that, and this is how you know, if you guys want an MC, where do you go to? If you want an MC for your event or your wedding, where do you go to? Where? You call? Is there a directory? And I noticed that about 2.5 years ago, so I came up with the MC company, which is like the, no, not OLXO, which is like the yellow pages for MCs, and it's a whole lot of stuff, and I registered the company and I started something. Now, it got so overwhelming that I had to leave my day job to focus on this project, and that was 2 months ago. So this is a plug-in for my, for my life. It's called the mccompanyng.com, and the idea is that if you're an MC established or wanting to be, you can register there and we can take you up. And just from one post in April, I've had over 250 applications, and I've not even started. No advertising, no media push, nothing. So if the idea is strong enough, this is just to buttress what we've been saying, it will find a way to get to the right people, all right? And also check out that website if you want to be an MC.
Plug. Oscar.
The mccompanyng.com. How do you spell G? Letter G? Oh, T-H-E. It's funny how you have to now start correcting. How do you spell it in school? Is it not T-H-E? Okay, it's the mccompanyng.com. And if you know somebody who wants to be an MC, you'll be surprised how many people are in banking but have a talent for speaking. All right? Okay, Chinedu, quickly, and then we'll move on to the next one.
So I remember what the young lady was talking about, fear, and I didn't want to scare anybody, but also to bring into focus that there's a high chance that we might be hitting a recession. That's the honest truth. And what we see with media, is, I don't know if anybody's observing it. The billboards, for instance, they're empty. They're getting emptier. And this is actually an opportunity for new media people to bring forth, what exactly needs to be done to champion media as we move forward. So now is that turning point. Now it's important for people to actually go back again and infuse creativity. So no more thinking about plagiarism, for instance. Think about the original content that you can create, bring it forward. The brands will jump on it, especially now. Their budgets are skewing towards that. That's one. The second thing is also what he pointed out about storytelling. Storytelling can never die. And in Africa, we have some of the best storytelling in the world. But those stories are just there, and they are not being used. We should begin to bring forth those stories and tell them. For brands, for businesses, for ideas, they have to come forward. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We good? All right. That was, that was a great session, guys, wasn't it? Wale, go and put your stuff on TV. Thanks a lot to all of you. Bolanle, Jumoke, Femi, Chinedu, Subomi. Thank you very much.